Good morning and welcome to the next installment of The Witch's Tools. Today it's Censers and Incense, in case you couldn't tell.
Good morning, Merry Meet. Today we're going to talk about censers. And the reason why is because it is one of the basic altar tools. And it can be taken care of in various and sundry ways. A censer is basically a receptacle for lit incense to represent air and the east, and to put a person in a spiritually minded mood for the ritual and or magical workings. There are several different kinds. Some are more formal and fancy, like this little one of the goddess that belongs to Autumn Heather, are whimsical and a little quirky, like mine of the gargoyle. But there are a lot of plain ones. Some are a little more fancier than others, but they're just called wooden heels. And you just stick the incense in there and set fire to it and go for it. But I would recommend, and because the ash falls down, to make sure when you're setting your incense in that it is right above the receptacle for the ashes. Otherwise, you're going to set your altar cloth on fire, which is never fun and spoils the mood. Some people get very fancy with their censers. Some have little fancy brass things to hold their loose incense. This is crushed sage. And we have pottery, which has a little dirt from our sands outside of Wichaven. This is a glass bowl full of dirt. And that's very handy for when you've got your sage stick lit and you're smudging everybody. It gives you a good place to put it so it's not a danger and a hazard. It can be simple. This is a little tin bucket from a Halloween decoration that I use for this incense, which is a stick incense, but it has no wood stick in it. So you just stick it in there in the dirt, and there you go. Some incenses are combinations of different varieties and sold for specific spells. This one is to attract good luck and money. Unfortunately, the ingredients are not listed, so I don't know what it is, and it costs $2, and you can do it yourself just pretty much out of what's in your kitchen. What I want to do is I want to show you how to use your cauldron as a censer. You take the cauldron and you pour salt or dirt in it or whatever like that, but you need to put a good amount in there, because what I'm going to do next is I'm going to add a charcoal, and those radiate a lot of heat. And so to dissipate that heat so you don't burn your paten or your altar or your altar cloth, you put a thick amount of salt and or sand at the bottom, and you light your charcoal stick. And when you light these things, they'll start to take off by themselves, so the minute you light it, put it down. And they're very easy for things like cones. When you hold a cone and you light it, sometimes your fingers get hot. This way, with the coal lit, you just plop your censer in there, and there you go. Another thing you can do is just take and have your charcoal lit and just sprinkle your loose incense on it, and that'll burn that way. So we have this very fancy and spiffy looking censer that belongs to Autumn Heather, and she doesn't put anything in the bottom of it. She just lights the coal and pops it in, and then you cover it up, and the incense smoke comes out the holes, and it's very spiffy. So the proper way to light a stick incense is to get the tip glowing and let it burn for a second or two to get the coal on the end going, and then extinguish it. Don't blow on it. And just let it burn and let the scent fill your sacred area. And that's it. Have fun and be safety, aware, and wise. Blessed be.
Blessed be.